Hey there, ARRMA fans. Today we have a great new product to show you. Of course, we have the Vorteks 3S BLX. This is a 4x4 stadium truck. It's a brand new product from ARRMA, and I'm really keen to take the body off and show you what it's all about. Okay, so as always, we're going to go through everything that you get in the box when you unbox one of these guys. Of course, you get the car fully assembled and ready to go. You get the radio and you get a little bag with some goodies. There are no batteries or chargers included with these cars, so you will need to get those yourself. Now, starting off with the bag here, as I open it up, there's actually another little bag in here as well, which also has some components. We'll crack that one open, and there's another little bag with this little funny looking tool that looks a little bit like a toy gun. This is actually a really cool tool that will help you work on the vehicle. I know that the one on the end here is for the wheel nuts, and there's some other bits and bobs in here that are kind of proprietary to this vehicle. So don't lose this. You will need this to work on the vehicle. Make sure you read through your instructions to know exactly what that can do. And then of course there's a bag with a whole bunch of little bits and pieces in here, which I'll just pour out real quick and show you what it's all about. Now, the first thing in my hand here is the speed pinion. Now, this is a 20-tooth pinion, and they've included this for those of you out there who like to go really fast and want to achieve the claimed 60 miles an hour on the box. You can install this in your car and of course get those speeds on 3S LiPo. However, I don't particularly recommend running this pinion if you're going to be doing just general bashing. This is more for like clean surfaces, to do speed runs and things like that. The car is plenty fast as it is with the stock pinion that it comes with, but of course you can install that, as I said, to go a little bit quicker. Now, there's also these little bits in here which I think are really cool that they've included. These are spare little tethers for the body pins. A lot of the times people, you know, when you're taking tumbles and things like that, these little tethers can get snagged on weeds and sticks on the ground and so forth, and sometimes they can tear. Also, sometimes people grab the actual tether itself to pull on the body pin and try and get it out of the body post. That's not really something you want to do. You want to make sure you grab the pin itself to pull it out of the body post. But if you do tear these up or damage them in any way, ARRMA have been very kind and actually included 4 spare ones in the packet for you, which is really nice. And then you've got these little black pieces in here. These are preload spacers. This is so that you can actually adjust the preload on the shocks, and you can actually adjust the height of the suspension and how stiff it runs and so forth. So you can have a bit of a play around until you find a setup that kind of works for you in your terrain and your driving style. And they also give you a couple of little Allen keys in here to work on the vehicle, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the all-important manuals and all that sort of thing that we see here. There's a little leaflet that kind of talks about like how to change out the pinion, how to pull out the motor mount and all that sort of thing. And then if you fold it or unfold it rather right open, there's actually an entire exploded view of the vehicle with all the part numbers and everything on there, which I think is really cool. So really easy access if you happen to break a part or you need to replace something or do some maintenance. There's an exploded view right there for you to help you work on the car. Now, the all-important user manual, of course, there's a lot of information here regarding the radio, how to set that up, how to program the ESC, and just basic stuff about how to turn the car on, how to plug things in. All of that is in the user manual, which I think is really cool, and I think it is in multiple languages as well, which is why it's a little bit thick. So I do encourage everybody to sort of go through those bits and pieces first, familiarize yourself with the product before actually using it. Now, for the all-important radio here. Now, this is a really cool radio that ARRMA have included with this particular car. This is not just another 3S BLX with a different body. They've actually changed up a few things here. The car does actually come with AVC, which stands for Active Vehicle Control, which is essentially a gyro. Now, the gyro works both on the steering and the throttle inputs, and you can adjust that via this little knob here on the remote, which actually says AVC or steering rate there. So by turning that down, you can pretty much turn off the gyro, and then you can crank it up and the gyro will have a certain percentage of influence on the driving that you're doing. So depending on the loose surface and so forth, you can adjust that to your liking, which I think is really cool. And you can do that on the fly without needing any programming or anything like that. Now, the radio itself is the DX3. It works on 4 AA's. It's really comfortable in the hand. It has a really nice, well-proportioned size steering wheel here. Everything feels really good, like the wheel feels nice and weighted. The trigger actually feels nice and weighted as well. It does have a 3 or third channel switch here on the handle. And then, of course, you have your on and off button just on the back here. Now, on the top, there's actually a little bit of information here. We have your reverse switches just there. you have your throttle limiter switch just here. So if you're finding that this is a little bit too fast, or you want to hand this down to somebody a little bit less experienced, you can do that by adjusting the position switch there. So you have a 50%, a 75% and 100% throttle limiter right there. These little 4 lights that you see on the side here, this is to indicate how much power you've actually got left in your car. So this is a really cool feature that comes thanks to the new Spektrum ESC that's included in the car. And then of course it gives you a little bit of voltage telemetry here for the battery that you're using there. You have your throttle trim, steering trim, and you have your brake rate along the side here as well. Now, brake rate's not something you usually see in a lot of ready-to-run radios, but you can adjust the strength of the brakes on the fly just by turning that little knob. Really cool feature. Nice to see that included in a radio like this. So this is not just another 3S BLX with a new body and some wheels and tires. ARRMA have actually put a little bit of work into this, and they've given us a few extra bits and pieces, and nice to see this radio be included with this particular car as well. Alright, so now for the main event, the car itself, and what a gorgeous car it is. I think ARRMA did a very good job with the body. The body itself actually comes in 3 different colors as well. There's the green one that you see here, there's the purple one, and then there's the red one that you would have seen on the front of the box. Now, they've done a couple of really cool features with this body as well. One of them being that they've put these little black skid plates on the roof of the car, just in case you roll it over and skid around on concrete and so forth. This will actually help prolong the life of the body. And once they get all scuffed up and damaged, you can just replace those and keep the body as it is. The rear spoiler is also really nice. It's got a nice flexible feel to it. They've also included a couple of little bolts right on the corners of the spoiler to help prolong its longevity and of course protect it from breaking and so forth. It's bolted on to the body with a couple of little braces on the rear here, which is I think quite nice. It's a nice little spoiler. I don't mind that at all. Now, wheels and tyres are actually really nice. The wheels themselves are very reminiscent of the Proline F11 wheel, but I had put the F11 wheels on next to this car, and they are a little bit different. So they've done enough, I think, to really set them apart, but they're very, very similar. The tyres are the Qatar tyres, which you'll find on the Typhon 6S and the Italian 6S, I think that was the first car to introduce these Qatar tyres, and they've now introduced them on this car as well. The tyres themselves are vented, not the wheels, which I think is a really cool feature as well. And they actually don't feel too bad. They feel kind of sticky, but they also feel kind of firm, which is kind of an odd combination. I think they're going to grip pretty well. These Qatar tyres have been very good in previous cars. I think they're going to do extremely well on this car as well. So they're a very low profile tyre on a 2.8-inch wheel, which I believe is a 2.8-inch wheel. So it's actually going to work quite well in this car, and they're not going to balloon too much. Now, very quickly, we'll take the body off and we'll have a look at the underside of the body, because there's also a couple of really cool features that I like to point out on these ARRMA cars. ARRMA does this with pretty much every one of their bodies, and that is that they put these little stickers around where the body posts are and where the body is actually going to rub on the chassis, just to prevent the paint from peeling off, which I think is a really cool feature. The body itself is actually really nice and thick, so it should take a bit of abuse, which is nice to see, especially on a basher like this. Now, as we have a look at the car itself, you can see that this is the short wheelbase chassis that you'll find on the Granite, but I do believe that these arms are a little bit wider, a little bit longer. So they've kind of mixed and matched a couple of components here to give us something quite unique and giving us a different driving experience. The body posts are adjustable front and rear, so if you do decide to swap out the body for something else, you can of course adjust those body posts and fit different bodies on here. It has a really nice tough looking wheelie bar on the back, which I think has ball bearings on these wheels, so it should roll along quite nicely if you do decide to pop wheelies and so forth. Of course, you have the Spektrum electrics on here. There is a steering servo right up the front here. You have the new Spektrum Firma ESC on this particular car, which comes with IC5 connectors. Now, you can use EC5 plugs on here as well. These are backwards compatible. They will work perfectly fine between EC5 and IC5. And then, of course, you have your motor back here, which I believe is a 3200 kV motor, and it has a little built-in fan on top as well to keep everything nice and cool. Center drive shaft going right through the middle there, and then of course right underneath the actual ESC there is the receiver box, so you can see the little tiny antenna kind of sticking out there as well. Battery compartment is just here with a couple of Velcro straps. Now it may look a little bit small, but there's a couple of, well, there's actually a little trick that you can do to put slightly longer batteries in here, and that's this little stopper back here that you see. You can actually remove that with one screw underneath the chassis, and that'll give you a slightly longer battery tray. So really nice to see that you can actually you know, fit bigger batteries in here if you do happen to come across them. The chassis of course is all plastic, as you can see, and it's got the usual ARRMA writing all over it, which looks kind of cool. And that pretty much wraps up this unboxing. Drive shafts are, you know, plastic as per standard. You have adjustable turnbuckles and toe links pretty much all the way around. Really nice setup, a well-proven platform. These cars are actually very, very durable. And, you know, I'm actually contemplating getting one myself because I really like this car, and I think ARRMA have actually done a really good job with this one. So be sure to come into the store and check them out. This is the new ARRMA 3S BLX Vorteks, which I think is going to do really, really well for them. That wraps up this unboxing of the ARRMA Vorteks 3S BLX 4x4 Stadium truck. Be sure to check out the video description. We'll have links in there to the trucks itself, as well as all the relevant products such as batteries and chargers and so forth. We'll also have links in there to our socials if you want to catch up with us there. That's it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll be speaking to you all next time. Pew, 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 pew.